The establishment concocted a swampy backroom deal to try to rig an election.
Come on now, Lauren. You gonna sit there and act like you don't like a swampy backroom deal? Let's be honest, we all like a swampy backroom deal. You just mad you weren't invited. Colorado Representative Ken Buck just threw the big joker on the table. Whoa, that's a whole nother card. That was a draw for Liz Cheney. But damn, Boebert is amazing. I went with Bobo for this video, but your suggestion is duly noted.
This place just keeps going downhill, and I don't need to spend my time here. We've taken impeachment and we've made it a social media issue as opposed to a constitutional concept. Mike Johnson's ability to talk me into staying here is going to be about as successful as his ability into talking me into unconstitutional impeachments.
Ken Buck tossed his retirement papers in the whole party's face. Anybody else get Jaden Smith vibes from The Pursuit of Happiness? I hate it here. I want to go home.
It is the worst year of the 9 years and 3 months that I've been in Congress. And having talked to former members, it's the worst year in 40, 50 years to be in Congress.
Buck's decision to retire from Congress this month has made Lauren Boebert's bid to succeed him a little bit more spicy. And she is salty.
The Uniparty is trying to do everything that they can to stop my candidacy, to rig the election in Colorado.
Now, initially, Buck announced he wouldn't run for re-election in Colorado's 4th congressional district, which covers the eastern part of the state. However, he accelerated his retirement plans because apparently those hearings are just as insufferable as they look on C-SPAN.
One thing. I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, one, that I can go campaign on and say we did. One. Anybody sitting in the complex, if you want to come down to the floor and come explain to me one material, meaningful, significant thing the Republican majority has done besides, well, I guess it's not as bad as the Democrats.
My man just grabbed a mic and retired in the middle of his shift.
Attention all shoppers, associates, and management. I would like to say to all of you today that nobody should work here, ever.
Announcing his departure by the end of the following week, prompting a special election June 25th to complete the remainder of the term, coinciding with the state's primary election. In other words, there'll be an election for the rest of his term at the same time as the primary election to take his seat. It's kind of like long-term dating and short-term dating at the same time. Like, yeah, I'm looking for a wife. Let me see if she's in this tilted kilt. This all makes Lauren Boebert's electoral path more challenging because she currently represents Colorado's 3rd congressional district, situated in the opposite end of the state from Buck's district. Now, there were conflicting reports about whether she could even run in a special election while representing another part of the state, but it's moot because she opted not to, saving herself the embarrassment of the GOP picking somebody else to throw their support behind. It's kind of like when you quit that job right after you got your 3rd strike.
It's a joke. And even she laughs. But it's not funny.
But wait a minute. She already has a seat. Why all this confusion about switching districts?
It's a joke. And even she laughs. But it's not funny.
Well, late last year, she declared her candidacy for Buck's seat after narrowly winning re-election against Democrat Adam Frisch in her own district. Now, Frisch is also running for re-election in the 3rd, setting the stage for another competitive race, and she doesn't want any of that smoke. Now, that's odd. She just defeated Adam Frisch. Why would she run to the other end of Colorado? I mean, this can't be good for her family.
I hope it was full of laughter and joy. After all, joy is not just a suggestion, it is our battle plan.
Did she just call joy a battle plan? Yeah, we gonna fight till we feel happiness in our hearts. Combat for glee.
It's the right move for me personally, and it's the right decision for those who support our conservative movement. This is the right move for Colorado, for us. Since the first day I ran for public office, I promised I would do whatever it takes to stop the socialists and communists from taking over our country. That means staying in the fight. But it also means not allowing Hollywood elites and progressive money groups to buy the 3rd District, a seat that they have no business owning. I will not allow dark money that is directed at destroying me personally to steal this seat. It's not fair to the 3rd District and the conservatives there who have fought so hard for our victories, of which I'm incredibly grateful.
Oh, so she's doing it for the people. Well, let's see what people we're talking about. So she lived and worked over here on the left by the arrow, and she wants to represent the people on the right in the 4th District, a move less sensible than Kevin Durant to Brooklyn. But more importantly, why, Lauren? Why?
Personally, this announcement is a fresh start following a pretty difficult year for me and my family. I had never been in politics before, and I'd never been through a divorce, something I never intended to go through. I've made my own personal mistakes and have owned up and apologized for them. It's tested my faith, my strength, and my abilities both as a mom and a congresswoman. It's been humbling and challenging, but it's also given me perspective and helped me grow.
Oh, well, that's all you had to say. This is your fresh start, your geographic. Yeah, I did that back in my 20s after I got kicked out of a house share in San Francisco. Went all the way back to New York City, but my behavior went with me. But I do wish you the best. I hope your mistakes stay on the western part of the state and everything works out for your family. What? I'm sorry, what's that? Well, you know, divorces can be hard and complicated, but hopefully the kids. Well, but see, ultimately, it's really just about Lauren, right? It's really just about her. Like, she's the one who's elected. Well, I mean, I'm sure she's learned her lesson, one of compassion and forgiveness that she can now extend to other people. The stakes are high, with Buck's seat having favored Trump by more than 18 points. In a statement issued through her campaign, she emphasized her commitment to representing her constituents' priorities while striving to earn the support of voters in Colorado's 4th District, who have shown a desire for a conservative representative.
So we're going to inject President Trump's policies with steroids and put them all into one. And my bill is called Build the Wall, Deport Them All.
Sorry, y'all. That was the wrong clip.
I like to make a lot of noise. Closed mouths don't get fed. So I put public pressure campaigns on people who are not serving the Republican agenda, the America First agenda correctly. And that's pretty effective. But also, I love legislating. The Uniparty is trying to do everything that they can to stop my candidacy, to rig the election in Colorado. And, this is breaking news as of yesterday. Ken Buck's announcement yesterday was a gift to the Uniparty. The establishment concocted a swampy backroom deal to try to rig an election that I'm winning by 25 points, forcing an unnecessary special election when the same day as the primary election in Colorado.
Now, why would the Uniparty go to such great lengths just to get little Lauren Boebert out of Congress? Like, why would they make that such a priority for them? Maybe it's because you are the kind of person that will go into a public theater and vape around a pregnant woman. And then you will go and deny and say, no, I did not do that, even though you know that you did. You're also challenging that nobody would come with footage, even though we literally all have camera phones in our pocket. And by the way, it's a theater, a home of all of the multimedia instruments that they can afford. It's a place where they're most likely to have some kind of footage. Even worse, you know that vaping around the pregnant woman wasn't the only thing you were guilty of. If in fact they have footage of you doing that, they also have footage of you with your mans trying to give up to Fannie Willis. So you went to a public theater, tried to give up to Fannie Willis, and then took out your vape and then lied about it as if you weren't in a theater, a place that's rife with cameras around a rack of people. And even worse, you thought that was a decent way to conduct yourself as a member of Congress. I wouldn't go to a theater and try and give up to Fannie Willis because I think it might make my YouTube channel look bad. You did it with no concern whatsoever for all the people of Colorado that you represent. Might that have something to do with why the Uniparty wants you out of Congress? You are in the right party.
And Lauren, you're going to do fantastically in your district. Lauren Boebert, thank you.
I told you.
I'm going to have to look that one up. But it sounds interesting, and I don't think I want to be a part of it.